Hi everybody, welcome to our Halloween edition of Calling All Kids. As you can see, I've partially dressed up as a witch tonight, and I have all my lovely guests on the show, which I'm so excited about. I'll introduce them first. First we have Tony, and then we have Michael, and Jennifer, and Laura, and Sarah, and Caroline, and they've all worn their Halloween costumes, which I'm very excited about. And actually, I'm going to have them talk a little bit about their costumes, for whoever wants to. Remember, if you do not want to come up, you don't have to. Tony, would you like to tell everybody what you are? Would you like to stand up and show them your costume? No? Okay. Well, you're a cowboy, aren't you? You look great as a cowboy. You can't really see him, but he's got little cowboy boots on. They're absolutely adorable. Michael, what about you? Would you like to come up and talk about your costume? Oh, well, is your foot still asleep?
No.
Oh, he might go crashing down, folks, but he'll get back up. Come over here, sweetie. Watch the mic. Okay, now what do we have here?
A gladiator.
Oops, watch the mic. Okay, you're a gladiator?
Yep.
And what is this thing for? That's just your weapon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And show people those fancy slippers. I don't know if you can see these, folks, but these are something. They're really not part of his costume, but they're pretty neat. Well, thank you, Michael. You look great. You've dressed up really scary tonight. Jennifer, what about you? Do you want to get up? Oh, you do, don't you? Because you look so pretty today. What are you dressed up as?
A cheerleader.
But you know what? You're not really dressed up because you are a cheerleader, aren't you? Well, you look very, very pretty. It brings back a lot of memories, except my cheerleading uniform wasn't quite as nice. Okay, Caroline, would you like to come up? Come over here. What are you dressed as today?
A princess.
A fairy princess, and you make an absolutely beautiful fairy princess with that blonde hair of yours. You look great. Sarah, what about you? Would you like to come up? Who are you dressed as today?
Cat in the hat.
Cat in the Hat, and as you can see, she's got her face painted, and she's got this really neat hat on, and she's got this bow tie, and she looks just great. Sarah's a new guest on the show, and I hope you come back, Sarah. Good job, you look great. And then we have Laura, who's having a little difficulty with her hair here. It's very dry. Tell your mother you're going to need some Pantene or something to get all that dryness out. Now, what are you dressed as?
A really freaking looking ghost.
A freaky looking ghost,
Yes.
which she really is. Let me tell you, folks, you out there, you're not standing next to her, but she's really scary when she's all dressed up like this. Well, you scared me. You did a great job. Now, we have a bit of an announcement today, folks. For those of you who don't already know, since I practically told the world already, I'm going to have a baby, and I'm 4.5 months pregnant as we speak. I'm due March 25th, and I'm very, very excited. Only thing I'm not really excited about is the fact that 2 of my very good friends today told me that I'm getting fuller in the face. Now, they said that that was a good thing, and I guess it is. But I'm going to show a side view just to show you how, the size of the baby, and then next month and the month after we'll compare and, see how I've grown. So, is this good, folks? Can you get a good view of the belly? Yeah, see? You can see it, can't you?
No.
Well, it's there. Trust me. If I stick it out a little, it's there. So, wait till next month. And then in December, hopefully in December, well, I won't look that odd-shaped, but hopefully I'll be a little bit bigger than that. But we're really excited about that, and I just had to share that with you. So, anyways, on to our Halloween stories. Is everybody excited? I'm really excited. What day does Halloween fall on this year? Do you know, Sarah?
October 31st.
Well, you're right, but what day of the week is that? Do you know, Sarah?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. I'm very excited. The first book we're going to read today is called In the Haunted House. Is anybody going into a haunted house for Halloween? Is anybody going anywhere I don't know, there's a haunted house in Tewksbury, and I know there's a haunted house somewhere in Ashland. A friend of mine decorates their house. It's pretty cool. Well, let's find out what happens in this haunted house. Remember, if you can't see the pictures right away, I'll always show them to you afterwards, okay? This is the house where the scary ones hide. Open the door and step softly inside. what is already kind of scary about the house? There's one thing that sticks out in my mind. There's no right answer. Whatever looks scary, but what do you think, Laura?
The pathway to the house.
The pathway to the house. What do you think, Sarah?
The trees and the owl.
The trees and the owl. What do you think, Caroline? The trees? What do you think, Michael?
I don't know.
Nothing, really? I have to agree. I think the way the trees are, see how the trees are kind of hung over like that? That's a little scary to me.
The jack-o'-lantern.
A jack-o'-lantern, well,
Which is blue.
jack-o'-lantern isn't really scary because it's got a funny face on it, a smiley face. But an organ is playing a funeral air. It's playing and playing, but nobody's there. Well, how do you think the organ can play if nobody's playing it? What do you think, Sarah?
A ghost.
Sarah thinks a ghost is playing it. What do you think, Caroline? You think there's somebody playing music, maybe like an invisible person? What do you think, Jen? Who do you think's playing the organ? You don't know? What do you think, Laura? Laura thinks she's, and what do you see over here? What do you see in the doorway? What are these? What are these? Feet? What do you think? Who do you think those belong to? Maybe somebody who lives in the house?
No.
My goodness. Ghosts swim in the hallway. 3 witches appear. Bats hang by their feet from the cracked chandelier. Has anybody ever seen a real live bat before?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I threw rocks at him.
You've seen bats before?
I threw rocks at him.
Threw rocks at them. Laura?
I've seen one flying over my mom's head.
Ooh, that's a little scary. Caroline? You saw one fly over your daddy's head? Well, I had one fly over my head when I was swimming in my friend's pool one evening on a summer night. Let me tell you how scary that was. It's not too fun to have a bat flying over your head. Give me your hand. You're as brave as can be. I know you're not frightened, but stay close to me. What is this thing right there? What is that, Michael? Can you see, sweetie? You having a hard time seeing?
No.
What's that?
Spider.
What kind of spider do you think it is? What's a really scary spider on Halloween? Michael?
Tarantula.
Good job, tarantula. What, Caroline? There's a ghost flying over. Oh, yeah, see, there's a ghost. See the ghosts? And look at, see the feet again? See the feet now?
There's some in the other picture, too.
Yeah, there's some feet here and some feet here. Now, when over here, I thought that it was just one set of shoes, but I think it was 2. Laura?
I know another sort of scary spider.
What scary?
The Black Widow.
Black Widow is somewhat scary, yes. Caroline? You see the ghost and little feet. Let's find out where those little feet are going. At the top of the stairs where the long cobwebs drift is a box with a lid that says, "Do not lift." And what does it look like? First of all, tell me what is crawling on top of the, looks like a coffin. What is, oh, remember to raise your hand. What's this, Jennifer, do you think?
Mouse.
You think it's a mouse, or what else could it be? Something very, Jennifer?
Rat.
A rat. It's probably a rat. And what do you think is inside the coffin? Because you know what? You can kind of see. Michael.
Vampire.
Michael thinks a vampire. Good guess. Laura.
Dracula.
Laura thinks Dracula. What do you think, Sarah?
Mummy.
A mummy. What do you think, Caroline?
A daddy.
A daddy? I don't know. Let's find out and see. You can see the little feet again. The mirror that hangs on the dark paneled wall show faces that don't look like faces at all. Why, and what else? Not only are there faces in the picture, but there's something else in the picture. Laura, Jennifer.
Ghost.
There's a ghost in the picture. And what does this thing look like? Think now, I had a thought the first time I saw this. What do you think that looks like?
Me.
What do you think, Michael?
A cat.
Michael thinks a cat. Laura?
maybe like a weird-looking dog, and I think I know who the painter was.
A weird-looking dog. Okay, hold on. Sarah?
A zombie.
A zombie. Caroline?
I think there's a dolphin.
A what?
Dolphin.
A dolphin? Oh, you know what I thought of? Which probably isn't right because there's really no hair on there, but the first thing I thought of when I saw that was a werewolf. I know, kind of a goofy guess, but Laura, you think you know who the painter is? Who?
Picasso.
Picasso. Well, I don't know if Picasso would paint such a thing, but hey, you never know. A mummy's in bed and it's dead as can be, so why does its dead eye keep winking at me? And who's in the closet, dark as a tomb, rattling his bones in the gloomy gloom gloom? What is on the mummy's bed? What are the little posts on the bed? What are they in the shape of? Jennifer?
An owl.
An owl. And what does an owl do? Owl goes, whoo-hoo, right? And who do you think is rattling in the closet that you can't really see? Sarah?
Maybe a kind of animal or a skeleton.
Maybe an animal or a skeleton. What do you think, Caroline?
I think a doggy, a big dog.
A big doggy? Well, let's see if we can find out what's inside the closet. Oh, look what's inside the closet. A big skeleton. I know you're not frightened, but still we could go. No one would notice. No. You say no? Do you think the who do you think the feet belong to? Who do you think the feet belong to? Michael?
Some kids.
Some kids that maybe were just like, I don't know, out for a stroll and they came upon this house and they decided to go and look. You're having some difficulty with that hair, aren't you? Yeah, well, don't worry about it, sweetie. I know, it's in your face now. It's going to be hard to get out. The roof space is creeping and crawling with things that have horns and raggedy wings. Now, let me ask you guys this. If you heard some noise up in your attic, and it was dark, and it was scary, and it was Halloween, would you go up in the attic to check?
No. No.
Me neither. Laura?
Maybe if you had a big brother.
If you had a big brother to protect you, you would, yeah. Caroline?
I think there's a spider in there.
There's a spider in there. Yep, there's a spider web, yep. And there's a ghost with a pumpkin head and some bats and, I don't know.
A double.
There's a coffin-shaped tub, claw-footed and deep, and in it's a vampire who smiles in his sleep. What does a vampire have? A vampire has something very, very sharp.
Oh.
Michael?
Fangs.
Fangs, kind of like on your costume. Big, long fangs. Laura?
I can do a impression of a vampire.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to drink your blood.
Very good. Caroline?
I want to drink your blood.
Good job. Excellent. Imagine seeing a vampire in your tub. Be a little scary.
Horrible.
At the basin, a werewolf is washing his snout, sucking in water and spouting it out. What's a snout? Do you know what a snout is? Michael?
It's like some kind of nose.
Yeah, it's like a nose. Is someone behind us? I don't want to look. It might be a zombie. It might be a spook. And it does look like something with very large what? You can tell by the shadow on the rug. It looks like there's something.
A bear.
Well, yeah, could be a bear. Laura?
I think it's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein?
Very long fingers.
Good guess. Sarah?
Maybe a zombie.
Zombie, Michael?
A Frankenstein.
You think it's a Frankenstein too? I don't know what I think that big thing is. What do you think, Caroline?
I think it's an animal who lives in a zoo.
It's an animal, it's a type of animal who lives in the zoo. We're back where we started. The bats are still there. The organ's still playing a funeral air. It looks like, who was it, you guys? Who was it? Is that Frankenstein?
Yeah.
It is? Oh, yeah. You know who I was thinking of? Who's that guy that played, what was his name? Incredible Hulk. That's what I thought. But you're right. It's definitely Frankenstein. But I was thinking of Incredible Hulk when I saw him. It's time to go home, to step softly outside, out of the house where the scary things hide, into the day that's a sparkle with sun, Now, why are the ghosts, why do you think the ghosts are holding umbrellas? Or one of them's holding an umbrella? Why do you think, Sarah?
Maybe so they just think the umbrella's there. They don't think a ghost there.
Okay. Laura?
Because ghosts don't like the light.
Because the ghosts don't like the light. Michael, what were you going to say?
Because they might have think it was raining.
They might they might think it's raining. What do you think, Caroline?
I think it's time to rain and raining.
They think it's raining and they have their, I think I have to agree with Laura and think that maybe the ghosts don't like the sunlight. Halloween houses are so much fun. See, now can you see the feet? It looks like they were a brother and sister, and all they were is they were just in a really scary Halloween house. That was it. And their daddy's with them. Look, the look on Dad's face doesn't look that great either, does it? It looks a little scary. But now that's a fun thing. If you, any of you, has anybody ever been to Spooky World? No? Are you too young for that? You're probably too young for that. But that's a place that they have where they do haunted hay rides and stuff. It's really, really fun.
What do they do with haunted hay rides?
Well, like for example, now we went on a haunted hayride in New Hampshire, and this was really neat because they had the headless horseman there and everything. It was really neat. You get on a, you know, you've been on a hayride, right? It's a big wagon pulled by a tractor with some hay.
Do like some heads pop out of this?
Well, you go through the woods.
Apple picking.
You went apple picking on a hayride? Yep, I'm sure you did. And you go through the woods and things jump out at you.
I remember different.
You do remember to raise your hand, sweetie, okay? Michael.
I've been to Pumpkin Park.
Pumpkin Park. Now, what's that like?
It's like Spooky World, but it has a train, sort of.
Yeah.
A train that goes around.
And is it like around Halloween time that you, like, are there scary things
Yeah.
that happen? Yeah, because that's what we went on, and it was really neat. You go all through the woods, and you see ghosts and goblins jump out at you, and you see all sorts of things. Well, let's try to get our next book in, okay, before the end of the show. This is called The Spooky Halloween Party. Has anyone ever been, do you guys have Halloween parties in school?
Yeah.
Are they fun?
Yeah.
Okay, let's find out what their Halloween party's like. Who, said Nikki. Why are you asking me who, said Albert. I'm not asking you who, said Nikki. I'm getting ready to scare everybody on Halloween. What are you doing on Halloween, asked Albert. What is he doing on Halloween, I wonder? Looks like they're going to a store with some Halloween costumes, doesn't it? Didn't I tell you, said Nikki, I'm going to have a spooky Halloween party at my new apartment. Everybody is going to be scared out of their wits. Like who, said Albert. Like you and Jan, my cousin Susan, and Morris, and Doris, and Dan, said Nikki. Getting scared on Halloween is for little kids, said Albert. Nothing is going to scare me. If you were going to have a Halloween party, what would be some things that you'd try to decorate your house with to make it kind of scary? Laura.
Like, I'd put a ghost outside on the on a fishing pole and attach it to it and bounce it up and down.
So you would make the ghost move so it would look like the ghost is moving itself. What about you, Michael?
Paper skeletons.
Paper skeletons. Caroline?
I think they're going for a walk at the park.
You think they're going to go for a walk at the park? Yep, you're probably right. Sarah?
Have like a guy jump out of nowhere and scare you.
That's the funniest thing. With Spooky World has that too. When somebody jumps out and it just completely, you don't know they're there and they jump out at you and they scare you to death. So, Laura?
We went to well, actually this is a funny story too. We went to Hebert's
Yeah.
Candy Mansion.
And they have a scary.
And since we have Caroline and she was little, so we did green, which was not scary. But somebody didn't get the message, and they went in and we picked the Twizzlers out of a box, and it was camouflaged in with like sand and stuff, and they popped right out and they scared us half to death.
Really? My goodness. They stopped in front of Nikki's new apartment house. What are you going to be on Halloween, said Albert. I can't tell you, said Nikki. Nobody will know who anybody is till after we go trick-or-treating. It will be scarier that way. Nobody is going to scare me, said Albert. I will know who everybody is right away. That's what you'd think, called Nikki, as he headed for his front door. Do you guys always know who your friends are for Halloween, or do you keep it a secret?
I know what she is.
You know? Albert went home to think of a good Halloween costume. Nicky thinks he's so smart, said Albert, but all he has to do is go hoo, 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 and I will know him right away. What do you think Albert's going to be? What do you think Albert might dress up as, Michael?
A ghost?
A ghost is a good idea. What do you think, Jen? What are some other things he could dress up as for Halloween?
Bat.
A bat, that's another good guess. Laura?
Scarecrow.
A scarecrow, good guess. Sarah?
Hobo.
A hobo, because she sees it right up here. What do you think, Caroline?
I think a bunny for Halloween.
A bunny. That's what your sister's going to be, isn't she, Mikey? Ring-a-ding-ding, the phone rang. It was Jan. Will you lend me a mop for Nicky's spooky Halloween party, said Jan. I have a good idea for a costume. You will never guess who I am. I have a good idea too, said Albert, but I haven't got a mop. Albert hung up. I'll bet Jan is going to be a witch, thought Albert, and she thinks that witches ride on mops. How dumb can she be? Now, do you think that that's just what he thinks, or do you think that she really will? That's what she's thinking with the mop. What do you think, Michael?
I think that's just what he's thinking.
You think that's what he's thinking, but maybe she'll be something different? Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Laura?
I think she might want to dress up like that scary janitor.
Scary janitor. That's kind of creative. Let's see what she does. Ring-a-ding-ding. The phone rang again. This time it was Dan. Guess what, said Dan. Nicky invited me to a spooky Halloween party, and I am going to be a pirate. You are not supposed to tell where you're going to be, said Albert. Why not, asked Dan. Because now I will know who you are, said Albert. But you already know who I am, said Dan. Oh, Dan, said Albert, you never get the point. Albert hung up. Now, what is this pet that this, I don't know if it's a pet or if it's just an animal. I mean, a stuffed animal, but it has a mask on. What kind of animal is it, Jen?
Pig?
It's a pig with a mask on. Do you think it's a real pig?
No.
No, probably just a stuffed pig, huh? But hey, you dress up your animals too, right? Albert got out of the box, got out the box of old clothes. I am sick of the clothes in this box, he said. I have worn them all before. I know this year I will wear the box. I will be a robot. Nobody will know it is me. You will see who is going to scare, we will see who is going to scare who at Nicky's spooky Halloween party. On Halloween, Albert set out for Nicky's new apartment house. He was wearing the box upside down. All you could see of Albert were his arms and legs. He practiced talking in a squeaky robot voice. That's a pretty good robot costume, isn't it? Look at it. Pretty good, huh? Do you think they're going to know it's him?
Yeah.
You do? I don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You do? Why?
Because they probably know his robot impression.
Because they know his...
They think it's going to be one of
Ro-
They might know
Sarah?
the voice, and it might sound like a squeaky impression.
They might know his voice, and that's how they'll be able to tell. Caroline?
I think they're gonna be a ghost, a Halloween, or a bunny.
A ghost or a bunny? You think there'll be a ghost or a bunny at the party, huh? Well, let's see. Where is Nicky's party? Albert asked the doorman at Nicky's new apartment house. Take the elevator to the 5th floor. It is apartment C, said the doorman. Albert got in the elevator. A princess wearing a gold crown and a big pair of high-heel shoes got in the elevator, too. She pushed button number 5. She must be Nicky's cousin Suzanne, thought Albert. Now, I wonder if he'll be able to tell who that is. You are not very scary, Albert said to the princess. I would rather be pretty, said the princess. Are you going to the spooky Halloween party on the 5th floor? Of course, said Albert. Then you can come with me, said the princess, so the spooks won't get me. Don't be silly, said Albert. There aren't any spooks. You think there are going to be some spooks here?
Yeah.
Let's find out. The elevator stopped at 5. A clown and a monster were running up and down the hall. Follow me, said the princess. Albert followed the princess around a corner. They stopped at an open door. Hey, look at the robot, said a witch. Who could it be? Albert felt very good. I will know them, he thought, but they won't know me. Do you think they'll know him? You still do, huh? It was really spooky at the party. The only light came from 3 little pumpkins. Albert looked around for Nicky. Was he the owl flapping his wings, or was Nicky the goblin? with the stocking over his head. And which witch was Jan? The one with the broom or the one with the shopping bag? Maybe it wasn't Jan at all. Maybe Jan was something completely different than he thought. I know, thought Albert. The witch with the broom is Jan. Somebody must have told her that witches don't ride on mops. He went up to the witch and gave her broom a shake. Where is your mop? Said Albert in his squeaky robot voice. Go away or I will bite you, said the witch. What's the matter with Jan? Albert wondered. He went up to the other witch. You better watch out, she hissed in a witch's voice. The terrible spooks have cast a spell on everyone here. Wait and see, hissed the witch. Oh, my goodness, getting scary. Albert went looking for Dan, but there were no little pirates anywhere. Albert felt a tap on his box. It's me, said the princess, and I'm scared. I'm not scared, said Albert. Just then the goblin shouted, Okay, you guys, time to trick or treat. Head for the stairs. That goblin sounds bossy, thought Albert, just like Nicky, and he thought he could fool me. Do you think Nicky's the goblin? I'm tending to think not. Everybody headed for the stairs. Albert tried to keep up with the goblin and the owl, but it was hard to run wearing a box. And the princess kept losing her high-heel shoes. Oh my goodness, she kept dropping her shoes down the staircase. So Albert and the princess had to ring doorbells together. By the time they reached the bottom floor, their bags were heavy with treats. Then Albert and the princess climbed back up the long, lonely stairs. Black shadows waited at every turn. Way above them, a door went bang. Woo-hoo-hoo, went a faraway voice. Help, a spook, yelled the princess. Who's the hoo-hoo-hoo voice? Laura. Nicky. She grabbed Albert so hard he almost fell down the stairs. That is not a spook, it's Nicky, cried Albert. Now I know Nicky is the owl. That's why he keeps hooting. You don't know anything, said the princess. Even I know who the owl is. Suddenly a shiver went down Albert. Why, hi, sweetie. Come on over. You got some candy? Wow, we're just going to finish our story up, and then we'll eat it. Have a seat next to Tony. Good job. You don't know anything, said the princess. Even I know who the owl is. Suddenly a shiver went down Albert. Why don't I know who anybody is, he thought. Maybe I am under a spell. The princess started to scream. It's Halloween and the spooks are going to get us, she yelled. Let's get out of here. You said it, Albert yelled back. When Albert and the princess got back to the party, Albert's heart was going thump, 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 thump. Everybody was waiting in the dark. Take off your mask, said the bossy goblin. I will turn on the lights. Albert felt better. Now he would see his friends. He looked around for Nicky. The owl was holding his mask in his hand. The owl was not Nicky. The goblin pulled the stocking off his head. The goblin was not Nicky either. And who were the witches? Albert had never seen either of them before. In fact, Albert had never seen anybody at the party before. Everyone stared at him. His heart started to thump again. His knees began to shake. There really are spooks, said Albert. Spooks have changed my friends into strangers. Just then the doorbell rang. Hoo, 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 went a voice. Trick or treat. The doorway was full of people. One was a little pirate, one was a clown with hair that looked like a mop, and one was a ghost with a light that went on and off. Hoo, 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 said the ghost. Who can I scare? Look, there is Albert, shouted the little pirate. Hey, Albert, why didn't you come to Nicky's Halloween party? Albert was all mixed up. I am at Nicky's Halloween party, he said. Aren't I? No, you were at my Halloween party, said the goblin. This is apartment B. Nicky lives around the corner in apartment C, so there aren't any spooks after all, said Albert. I am just at the wrong party. Now you have to come to the right party, said the ghost in Nicky's bossy voice. Everybody has to come to my party. I've got popcorn to eat and lots of spooky games to play. So the right party and the wrong party ended in a double Halloween party at Nicky's house in apartment C. They played Nicky's spooky games and screamed and yelled until their throats were sore. Finally, it was time to go home. This was a super special Halloween, even though it was so scary, said the princess. You are wrong, said Nicky. This was a super special Halloween just because it was so scary, and everyone agreed, even Albert. So our stories took a little longer than normal, so everybody quickly say, thanks, see you next time.
Thanks, see you next time.
We had to kind of buzz through that last one, didn't we? Well, would anybody like to have a Halloween treat? What would you like? Snickers or